right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the GSL Code A. I am Moltrap. With me here is Wolf, and we just watched Jelizerg owning June's poor face.
Yeah, and July is going to play against the winner of Lucira versus the STC, which is going on now on the second stream. So if you'd like to tune into that match, go ahead and load up the second stream if you have a premium service. There's guides out there as to how to open 2 streams at once. You go to your settings on your GOM player. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just have to enable allowing 2 streams at once. You can watch both of us at the same time.
Yes, you can. And if you want, you can even listen to both of us at the same time.
Yeah,
it'd be tricky, but it might work.
It would be tricky. We're all fast talkers. Yep. You have to have some sort of crazy Dr. Manhattan type brain to be able to do that.
But next up, that's all the past. That has already happened. Yeah. The future contains none other than IdrA versus next Avenge. First, let's check out a little bit of one of the replays from STC versus Lucira.
Game 1 between these 2 players.
Game 2, I think.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, this is game 2. There must be a 3rd game then, since we don't know who the winner is. But you can see just a little bit of pressure there going on from the STC. It looks like things are shaping up to be a pretty... This may even be live right now. I'm not actually sure, but it looks like things are being shaped up to be a pretty even game. 2 base versus 2 base. The STC clearing up tumors now with the Hellion build.
This is live. You're right.
And
okay, I thought we were going to watch part of a replay, but there's no replay bar on this.
So just, we're taking a look at things here. It looks like the STC has got strong 2 base coming up. He's got his upgrades on the way. He's got +1 armor and +1 weapons on the way.
And
oh my gosh.
Doesn't start.
I just checked my Twitter, and I can't believe I didn't make this joke. We just watched June versus July. We just watched... How did I not think of June as being pronounced like a month?
But, well, let's see.
I feel bad about that now.
Base of the SCC. He's already pulling ahead in supply. He's at 100 supply. He's getting a ton of upgrades now. And he's getting dual upgrades at that, adding the armor.
I don't know if they can at home or not, though.
Well, I think...
so he's really on top of this game. The STC
basically we're just kind of looking over this as Caldor describes it, but... No, I lost his voice again, so I guess we're gonna commentate a little bit. But it looks like, as you can see, STC is powering up more barracks off of 2 base, very heavy 2 base, and gonna catch a lot of Zerglings here.
Yeah, this is interesting to see the STC up a game actually, because he has not been in the best of practice lately, and we talked about this in Team League the other day. He got kind of trounced in the Team League, and Lucira is very strong, so kudos to the STC for doing so well.
You and I actually met up before the matches, and I was talking about this. The STC, when he's good, he's really good. And
yeah, he's kind of inconsistent.
He might be able to pull this off. I would definitely give the favor to Lucira. Give him a little bit slightly favored. But anyway, we just saw a Zenex player. We're going to see another one in just a moment. And, Zenex Avenge... He's an okay player. I actually spoke to Greg before the match, said, how do you feel about this match? And he said, well, I think I can take it. He's not, in Greg's style, he said, well, he's kind of bad. But basically, Greg feels confident, in this match. And his ZVP is actually pretty good. He was struggling with it for a while. He was having trouble with that late-game mothership type stuff. That's what I had heard from him and from Artosis, asking IdrA, how is your ZVP right now? But he started to overcome that sort of challenge that he had with the mothership late game stuff that has actually becoming more and more popular on the Korean server and worldwide actually now, with just that very late game mothership using the recall defensively.
Yeah.
And looks like our match is ready. We're going to jump into it. Are you ready?
I am ready indeed. Like the Incredible Miracle player's name, I am ready. And we're going to get started into it here in just a moment. IdrA versus Avenge.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at some of their stats. Now, as you can see, IdrA's GSL record 9-9. That puts him at 50%. He's been gone a while. He fell out of Code S this very season, playing against the likes of Nest T and a ZBZ. And it was a very unfortunate group for him, but he held his own. He had a few builder losses and things like that in that group. And Zenex Avenge is a Code B player. Came into A. He's 1-2. Never, as far as I know, never playing an actual Code A before, but only playing in Team League.
Avenge?
Yeah.
He was in Code A once before, and Boxer beat him in the first round.
That's right. I remember that. Yeah.
Yep. Remember Boxer nuked him?
That's right.
And I lost I lost it basically. Went nuts.
Gotcha.
A little bit. Anyway, but that was his only experience in Code A previously, and he hasn't really been around since then. He's just been in the team league a little bit. He was in the team league just the other day.
Yep.
Anyway, we're going to find out how he can fare against one of the most accomplished foreigners in the entire scene, IdrA, here in just a moment at the GSL Code A. All right, up here at the top left, we have our foreigner recently moved back to Korea from Arizona. He is
IdrA.
IdrA, Team Evil Geniuses. And down here in the bottom right, we have our Protoss player trying to prove himself here in Code A.
Avenge.
Avenge.
Yeah, we actually have 3 ZX players playing today.
Yeah.
Core, Avenge, and of course Jaejun, who failed. I always have a tendency to call him Jaejun for some reason, despite the fact that it's very obviously just Jun, but everyone calls him Jaejun, so I started doing that. It's like IdrA and IdrA.
I started calling him Jaejun because this, I don't know, I just decided that's how it seemed like. It seemed like it would be errant of me to ignore the second J, but now that I think about it, now that I heard actually our Korean producer calling him June yesterday or the other day, I thought about it and I'm like, actually it makes sense because in Korean, sometimes you have the Korean symbol that has a just sound.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll actually put 2 of it at the beginning of the word to give more emphasis, and that's probably where that came from.
Like Chige has that.
Yep.
One of my favorite. There's all sorts of Chiges in Korea, but it's one of my favorite types of foods.
It's a soup, by the way, for those of you that aren't familiar.
I wanted them to Google it and research it themselves.
I'm sorry.
Gave them the answer,
I'm sorry.
Moltrap.
Well, they might not know how to spell Jjigae.
I just told him, man, it has the double chia.
Yeah.
Anyways. Look, man, these guys like the GSL, they need to learn how to spell Korean. I'm sure a lot of them out there already can.
I actually think, I actually recommend, if you guys are interested in GSL and everything, go out and like learn how to read Hangul. It's actually really easy to learn, and it's really handy because then you can like read the players' names in Korean and stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
We're going to see, gate before cannon, I think, from Avenge. I like that. Gate before cannon here at his natural. You can see IdrA has pulled the drones out of the gas in very IdrA-like fashion, just mining 104 gas and pulling them out. And we're going to see IdrA take a quick expansion, just a speedling expand, very common. A lot of players like to go for the fast hatch first on this map, in this matchup, but IdrA just loves to play things safe. And he's actually going to chase this probe away before he makes his hatchery. Really nice timing on his hatchery, sitting the drone now, and the probe may pylon block. Probably not, this certainly is there, but I don't know why I just had that urge. I was like, when I play Pro in this matchup, I'm like, should I pylon block? And I'm like, no, it doesn't make sense, I don't do it, but as you can see here, our
It's good to think about it, though.
win rate was there at the bottom of the screen. You can get some more stats on these players. And Avenge gonna make a cyber core now. He's got the resources for it. Hasn't quite done it yet. He's mic'd his probe. Oh, and smartly, a lot of players forget to do this, but he had made the cyber core, so his probe is on the outside, so he can send a second probe scout to make sure that IdrA isn't up to any shenanigans. He wants to see, is IdrA mining gas still at his main base? He won't likely be able to see that, especially because IdrA has got both watchtowers. He's got a Overlord on the right side of the map, and has Zerglings going around to intercept this probe. So IdrA very well scouted, well versed in finding his opponent here, and the probe will definitely die as Zergling speed has finished. And Avenge now in the dark, blindly making a second cannon. Now here's the thing about Avenge. Does he know IdrA's playstyle very well? Most people who know IdrA would know that it's very unlikely for him to follow this up with an all-in.
That's a good point.
But
That's a really good point.
Avenge does not necessarily know this. He may not know IdrA's playstyle. He may have never played IdrA before. He's probably hit him on the ladder a few times, but he doesn't know necessarily that IdrA is extremely well known for being a passive macro player and is actually taking a third base right now. So he has to make that second cannon. He just has to. Even if he knew IdrA, you would pretty much have to make the second cannon. That's what you have to do when you scout, or when you're denied a scout. Bit of miscontrol there by IdrA, losing 2 Zerglings to a Zealot.
Yep. Well, we do have that Zealot running out there, and he does know it's there at least, so he's going to be able to prepare for it. A few Zerglings approaching the front as well. Just kind of scouting what the front looks like, seeing, all right, what kind of defenses do you have? What kind of units, very importantly, do you have behind those defenses?
Oh, and Avenge is going to get the scout this hatchery. IdrA, despite seeing it, did not have enough Zerglings out in time to stop the Zealot scout. The Zealot should be microed here. Actually, instead, IdrA is going to be the one doing micro, only losing one Zergling there. Good control. Meanwhile, Avenge has been chrono boosting his warp gate research and his +1. Has taken his gas as natural, so we're going to see a fast robo. Not going to be the 4 gateway Zealot pressure at the third base.
He's getting a lot of gas. He only has 5 probes on minerals in his natural, and he's already got 6 on gas at his natural, so he really wants to get that gas in right now. And he's making a lot of sentries, a lot of gas-heavy units, getting those upgrades as well.
I'm surprised he's not gotten Hallucination. He's going to be a little bit in the dark about what his opponent's doing. When that Robo finishes, he will be able to get an Observer out, but the Lair is already on the way for IdrA. He's got a Roach Warren and an Evo Chamber as well. And right now, Avenge is kind of playing in the dark. He's gotten a fast Robo, skipped adding the additional gateways. He's just now going up to 4, choosing to get the Robo first. I'm really curious to see what his plan here is going to be. He's not going to have a Twilight Council up either, so he's not going to be able to get fast +2. And IdrA is going to be able to scout not only the 3 gateways in the main, but also the robotics. So IdrA is now completely in the know.
Yeah.
Nothing is a secret from him, man.
Nothing is a secret from IdrA. He has the ability to read minds. He can hack into any email account, know what you're planning. Have you ever seen the show Misfits?
I've heard of it, never saw it.
It's a British TV show I just started watching.
It's good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'll check it out.
It's I was just thinking of it because there's a player that can read There's a character that can read minds.
Is he a player?
No, she's not.
Oh, it's like not even a he?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm
She's
sorry,
not a player
Misfits
at all.
character that I don't know.
Well, the show's called Misfits. All the like main characters are people who are like rejects from society kind of thing, and so.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, IdrA's not a reject from society, man.
No,
Everybody
he
likes
is
him.
not,
Oh,
man.
I like this. Look at this. 3 gateways being added. No Twilight Council, though. So again, this is going to be like a 1-1 push with several Immortals. This is this new build that people have been doing where you go with 3 or 4 Immortals. Usually you bring a Warp Prism. The Warp Prism can be used for multiple things. It can do 2-prong harass, but most people like to use the Warp Prism to pick up Immortals, and actually he's just going to make the Prism before getting his 3rd Immortal. I thought he had a 3rd Immortal, so it's a little bit different than the variation that I've seen a lot of, but it's a cool build. He's going to have 1-1, a lot of units that Gateway is going to be able to reinforce. He can use the Prism for multiple things.
Yeah.
IdrA's not going to know this is coming. He has not yet seen the Gateways at the bottom right.
And he only has, you know, a few queens around to deal with this, and so he's not going to be too prepared for it either. Oh,
He's going to come and see the Gateways by the looks of things. There's nothing that Avenge can do to stop him.
Oh, I don't know if that Zergling saw that Warp Prism. I don't think he did, though. But yeah, the Overseer sees everything, but he's not going to see this Warp Prism and the force that's actually moving out on the map. Well, I mean, he sees it with the Zerglings now, but...
It's a very cool 2-base timing attack.
Oh, and he goes in with the Roach counterattack, trying to target down that pylon to let the Zerglings in, but there's too many cannons there. There's a sentry behind it too, so you can just stop it. But here is the Warp-in with that Warp Prism.
Yep, and the Roaches are going to fall so fast, these +1 Immortals. Right now, IdrA's upgrades. He has +1 Carapace, but no attack upgrades. And nice force fields by Avenge, blocking IdrA's army off, and IdrA is likely going to lose his 3rd base here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, the Immortals are going to be able to pound away at that hatchery very quickly. The Roach is coming in. So many force fields go down. IdrA cannot mount a unified attack against this army.
Beautiful force fields, and the Immortals in the perfect position. No Zerglings can attack them. No Roaches can even engage, and Avenge, his supply is still down a little bit, but IdrA's losing drones now. The supply evening very quickly. More Zerglings coming in here, though. He's out of force fields. You don't want to target these Immortals. Nice targeting on the Roaches.
Just beautiful. The Immortals stuck in the back, able to basically fire from behind. But now most of it is, and I like this, burrowing the Roaches so the last few don't die until he gets a few more. Are the Roaches going to stay burrowed too long? Will the hatchery go down? The hatchery is definitely going to go down.
The Observer, as you guys just saw, is on the way. IdrA is going to target down these Immortals. Nice targeting, gets one, but so many Roaches being lost here. Good force fields again by Avenge. Even the Zealots doing some extra damage. Oh, a misclick there.
Wow, yeah, and the Queens are there. They're finally going to take out the Warp. No, they're not even going to get the Warp Prism.
He can transfuse if he wants to. And the Observer is here now, and the Warp Prism will get targeted down. No.
No, he's attacking the Stalker with the Queens. The Queens are just going to die. GG coming from IdrA.
No transfuses, and Avenge with a very interesting 2 Immortal Warp Prism timing attack. I've seen this with more than 2 Immortals, and look at that. Avenge avenging his teammate.
Yeah.
Daejun.
And he actually looks like he lost. That was the face of a guy who lost. He's like head in his hands and stuff, but that's just the relief of having pulled that off.
Actually, here's the thing, man. That nerd on the ladder that like beats you with the void rail in, that's how he looks too. Everyone's just like, oh man. He's like, because I've had this guy's like, I do void rail ins all the time. I do 2-game proxies sometimes when I'm tired of playing PvP. And you know what? Like, that's a feeling I have where I'm like, oh, I think Heaven Zayn had to play that matchup where it's like, well, I'm glad my all-in worked. I mean, like, he's really stressed out about that, man. That was a really specific all-in. And you know what? I was talking to you about this in the break. In June's play, when I saw his play, I saw that build and I was looking at it and I was like, this guy has practiced this build 50 times. Like, I saw his build, everything about it was so calculated, and I think Avenge has done the same thing here. You can see a very specifically practiced build and really nice control with it. He brought the Warp Prism. IdrA made a few mistakes in his control.
Yeah.
I think perhaps he should have waited to engage, just let the hatchery go, try to save all of his roaches before trying to save his hatchery. And, you know, when his queens were there, he had transfuses available to use on his queens and on some of the roaches. He had a lot of energy on those. Didn't target down the prism either. And even, he may have even prematurely GG'd there. I mean, he was probably going to lose that game, but there was a chance he could hold.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
and if he held that off, killed the army in the Warp Prism, there's a possibility for counterattacking or retaking his third, theoretically, too.
Yeah. So, I think likely he would have lost, but just really, really good execution by Avenge. A very unique timing attack. It's becoming more popular, actually. I've seen it with more Immortals than that, but...
Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like he kind of had to either decide to hold that or decide to let the hatchery go. And like, first he tried to hold it, and then he realized it wasn't going to work, and then he let the hatchery go, but then he tried to hold it anyways again.
I also want to say the build is very all-in by Avenge. Imagine if IdrA had not gone Roach Tag. Avenge didn't scout. He didn't know. What if he went Spire? That would have been very different.
Yeah,
I mean, so different. So, very risky build by Avenge, but well planned out, well practiced. Our next map is going to be Daybreak.
Yeah. And I think the only major thing that IdrA did wrong, because part of it is just lack of knowledge and nothing he could really do about it. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a second, actually. Let's get into game number 2 here, Avenge versus IdrA on Daybreak.